Well, good morning. How's your day going? We're having the middle of summer here. Looks like another hot one for us in the Northwest. I'm going to be making another one of my 3-pocket do-it-yourself cut and sews. It comes on 1 fat quarter with instructions. I've already cut it out. I've already cut out and embroidered each one of the pockets. So I have a little sheepy with, it's a colored sheep, so it's different colors. If colored sheep for people who raise sheep means that there's different colors of sheep. But this is kind of a play on that, whereas this little sheepy has different colors of wool and different textures. And then I have a chicken. And I have a little goat. Well, I won't take it off right now. I've got them pinned right there. As you can see, they're still just in the raw state. The first thing I'm going to do, well, I should say the second thing. I have already cut out all the pieces, and on the main long piece, which is to resemble kind of like a country cottage or something by the design of it. And I decided to back mine, which I did on a previous video on a different design, but it's the same pattern, but different design, is I backed it with some fabric, some scrap fabric that I had. And it is one of my designs too. But I just put this for a backing on there to make it a little more sturdy. This was an old one I did with actual pictures of buttons on there. There's a button, a little lighthouse. And now I'm going to take each one of these pockets and I'm going to fold and iron down the top. And then I'm going to stitch across that top. So each one of the tops of the pockets will already be done. Then I'm going to do the same on the sides and the bottoms of each one. Only I'm going to only iron it, and then I will sew it down onto this piece. So that's the basic instructions. Again, there's going to be on 1 fat quarter, 1 project that gives you the 3 pockets. Of course, it won't be embroidered on yours. You can either paint or embroider on this particular kit, or I should say pattern. So if you embroider it, this is kind of what you're going to look like. And you can use whatever colors you want to. I just made this one a little white goat with brown spots. It has a little butterfly up there, and then there's just these different flowers around, and you can do them any colors you want. And on the chicken too, so you there is 2 colors that's already printed on his feet and his face, and I'm really happy to leave some of this, like the little part there, his little, I think that's called a gullet or something right there. Anyway, whatever it's called there on the chicken. And his little feet. I didn't embroider with that. Now, if you paint this, you can use acrylics, and it's going to wash up just fine if you use cool water. When you wash your items that have been hand painted with acrylics, and make sure you lay something underneath it that's will absorb the leakage. And you just want to make sure when you paint that you don't use too much water on your brush. If you use too much water on your brush, it's going to bleed out into the fabric. But if you leave it really thick, it will stay right on wherever you paint, and then it might seep through to the other side, but you're going to have something to absorb that with. And you let it dry, and then you can go ahead and sew it on. Obviously, you'd want to paint this before you sew it on. Let's see if there's anything else I was going to think of. The embroidery stitches that I use are just basic ones. I'm not a professional embroidery person. I did it a while in my early 20s and 30s. And then I was raising kids and doing things, and I didn't do it at all. So I've been relearning and learning all my stitches again, and some new stitches. I have another one here where it's a kit that I bought where you practice your stitches everywhere. So that's what I'm going to do. And then as a reference, you get like 3 of these, I think. I got them off of Amazon. And I have 3 of these that I'm going to keep on the wall, and this will help me think, well, what do I want to use for a stitch to do this area? Like if you're doing trees, this is really good. This stitch here, the fly, they call it, or the fern. But I'm also, as I'm learning all these stitches, then I will go ahead. Here's one I'm working on now. They will help me that when I look at a pattern to do, like these, all you're doing is coloring in the spaces, so you're just going to pick the stitch and the colors you want, and then you will fill those in. It could be real basic too. You might want to just do the outline and not cover it all in. You don't have to cover it all in. It's whatever you want to do. It's your project. This one here is not going to be a wall hanging, like I did make some that are wall hangings, like my tree one. This one here, again, is going to be one of the fold-up 3-pocket travel bag. So you can like put your jewelry in each pocket or whatever you want to put in there. And then you fold it up, and then you'll just fold this part down, and it'll be like a little bag that you carry with you. And you could also go ahead and hang that when you get to wherever you're going. There is a little part here that if you want to put a little, something kind of a little hole that you can hang it from. Or what I like to do is use both sides, so you could put like a loop here, like a tab or something. And you can use some of your extra material to make those little tabs if you want to do that. For me, like I said, it's going to fold. I'll put a piece of Velcro here. It will fold over the 3 pockets, and then you have this little thing done. Anyway, you'll see that at the end. And for right now, I'm going to go ahead and start doing this next step of getting the pockets ready. Be right back. Okay, we've got her all done. I went ahead and finished it up like I said I was going to do, and I've decided, of course, to make this Velcro closure, but this is the front that you would see when it's all closed up. But when you're hanging it on the wall or getting into your jewelry, this is how it will look. And yes, I put a little cute chicken button on there. I thought that's a good time. You know, a lot of times, like if you're making these to sell or you're making them for gifts, those little extra things that you do to find to put on, or an extra stitch, or whatever it is, that your little personal touch will just really add to the value of someone receiving this as a gift, or if they're going to buy it, something that's a little different. So the little chicken is really cute. It's not ceramic, it's a little plastic button. You find them in Joann's and some of the other hobby stores. But again, too, it's also going to, by the way, you probably can't see this because it's probably backwards. This says Country Life. And this is the little Velcro. You can buy these Velcro dots that adhere permanently to fabric. And you just press them on there really hard. Leave something heavy on it if you want to overnight. Anyway, the first one, of course, is the little pocket with this cute little young goat in the flowers and the bee. And that, again, is printed on the fabric. 1 fat quarter equals 1 complete project, but you have to provide, you know, all the other things like thread, or you have to embroider it or paint it, whichever. And then, of course, we have our little chicken. He's a little blue and brown chicken. And we have the little colored sheep. So there's all 3 pockets all done. You will find that you can line up the sides a little bit by the sides. I've put lines down the sides. So that does help for your positioning, but you can position it any way you want. The sheep can be on top or whatever. And then when you go to pack this up, you're just going to fold it. Just going to fold, and then this comes down and meets the Velcro on the side. The way I line up the Velcro is I keep them together before I put them on, like these two. I stick them together, and then I stick one to the top, and then wherever you put it down here, that's where the bottom one's going to stick. So I made it a little loose, not too tight, so that if you got a lot of stuff in there, it's okay. And it's very handy. It's a unique little size. I'll measure this. I haven't measured these in the past videos, but that might be something people are interested in knowing about, how big it is. I think it's very handy for traveling, going in the car somewhere, or just hanging on the wall. I'll show you. Just a second here. I'll just use a pin on my little peg kind of board. But there, let's see here. I got to turn this around. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Couldn't get it off of the video part and onto the switching around part. Anyway, so there it is. Right next to my very first prototype was the trees, which I embroidered. And I really like how the trees turned out. They're not all on one. It's actually 3 separate pockets. That's what I did on that. That was my very first prototype. And then I refined it down to this one here, which I really like. I really like the size. I like that it's very simple and easy to do. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and go ahead and make something of your own. And you can start with these little do-it-yourself cut and sews that I have on Spoonflower. The name is Salzanos, and I have a lot of them on there now so that you can find your own unique, easy to make project. Bye.